well, about 299 away. HPNA. Good evening. Thank you for being here. I think one thing is certain from this meeting is that we will need to reduce the public speaking time to maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes if we have 30 people in line. Joking aside, I think that's reflective of a bit of a turning point here in our city. I've lived here for 21 years. You all, I'm actually envious of you in this way, not being able to sit here, although I've been doing a very good job. But you really have an opportunity here to do something great for your tenure. When we look back 21 years from now, I think they will look back and say that you did a great job. You're inviting development, and yet you're managing it and trying to make sure that these objections are dealt with. I listened intently to Council's presentation a couple of weeks ago. It was very good. I went there with a closed mind also, and I went there opposing. He gave me some good positions, but I came away continuing to oppose this change. I would say with everything that you folks have to do in this city and have done, and all the great changes that are happening through you, through your authority, this is one of the easier decisions. You have massive community opposition. You have predictions of not just inconvenience and not just business inconvenience, but predictions of safety issues. And you have, on top of all of that, an agreement. We're not sitting here at the beginning of the process trying to decide whether we should go along with what they want. We went along with what ultimately this board wanted and the city wanted years ago. And now it's being flipped. So I would suggest this is one of your easier decisions. That isn't to say they weren't entitled to bring this before you. They obviously were. I'm not sure that they should have. This has been a great deal of time and effort with all your parts. A lot of people here getting here too. And I think it needs to be rejected. And simply, it's already done. It's easy. And let's look at what we're going to do now in the future. And I think you all are in a wonderful position to make some great changes here. Thank you very much.
And now it's 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Nice work.
So my name is Roland Millman. I live at 237 4th Street. I've been living in Jersey City since 1999, 17 years. Recently, in the past 3 years, there have been 2 small buildings that were built without parking, and those small buildings have impacted the neighborhood in terms of parking immensely. I believe that although I respect the developer as a business, not as a person, the business is there to create a profit for itself, and that is its mission, and I respect that. Our city is there to protect our interests as citizens, and I believe that in looking at the numbers that were presented this evening regarding the census, the two words were used, actual and current. Well, as we know, and as has been told us by our mayor plan, and I hope that you agree and oppose it as well.
So my comments tonight are both to you and to the folks from the development company. You guys have made an investment in Jersey City. It's hard to not notice that because your profile is quite large.
Ma'am, I have to tell you, they're not voting for us.
No, I think that they need to hear why we're here. And perhaps that will have something to do with what they will ultimately discuss with you all. You guys have been invested in the city. Well, guess what? So are we. You know, we've invested in money, we pay taxes, we work on the park, we take care of the streets, we do all kinds of things. We don't take it lightly. So like, if you're going to safeguard your district, guess what we're going to safeguard our district? So we're not going to disappear. We're going to be here for this hearing, we're going to be here for ultimately getting more people service provider, and more steps we will be continuing. This is not a one-off kind of thing we're about, because we have an investment in Jersey City and our neighborhood as well. So that's one point. The other point about the numbers is, again, very simple. I mean, people can do whatever they want with numbers. We see the politicians doing it every day now on the campaign trail. So I don't take numbers and skew them in my direction. You know, the thing that really worries me about the planner, your planner, is that he talks numbers, but he doesn't talk about other things like quality of life and talking about experience and what it's like to live in a neighborhood and experience it. So all you have to do, you go outside. And I'm trying to find a parking spot. So many of my neighbors have said, so cogently, so clearly, it's not easy. It's a real pain in the butt to find a parking spot around here. So when they tell us, you know, they give us these numbers to back up these points, they don't make sense. All they have to do is come out and spend a little bit of time, not in the offices, but on the streets here, and you get a very different picture, and you see what they're experiencing, and you see it from our side. The other thing is that, you know, you have numbers, but you also have to talk about human behaviors. And your guys talk about parking in the next lot, and the next lot, and the next lot. You're not factoring human behavior into this. You know, there's some two very clear things. People do what's easiest, what's most practical, most effective, and less costly for themselves. So why are they going to go over somewhere else when there's street parking, there's all these other, you know, potentials for that? That's impacting the neighborhood. And I don't think that you guys have really thought about how people behave and how they look for parking. You guys have experiences in New York, you know what's going on over there. Just take that, and I mean, we don't want to repeat of that situation in the city. So I think that, you know, we're at a point where we're talking about a very specific thing, and that's parking. But we're hoping that this is also giving a message to you all that those of us who made an investment in this city are going to continue taking it very seriously. So we're not worried just about parking. That's the tip of the iceberg. We're worried about having a sustainable city, one that's going to be easy to live in, that's going to be healthy, that's going to be safe, that's going to give us the amenities we need, the resources we need. And for that, we need a long-range sustainable plan. It shouldn't be one developer with one plan with one agenda. It should be a cohesive, integrated plan for the whole city. And you hear what people are saying here. These folks are, you've got newcomers and you've got old timers. We're all saying the same thing. We're on the same side. And you find the same sentiment in whatever neighborhood we go to. So the people of Jersey City are really quite interested in what the future holds for their city. And we're really hoping you guys take us seriously and hear us. And we'll be happy to show up at future meetings. I really wish I lived in Jersey City when this plan was first being introduced and there were hearings like this, because we would have valued the forces to come out, and we would have hoped that you guys might have at that point said, you must have parking in the building, and it must be included in the rent, because you know that paid parking means that most people aren't going to want to pay for it if they can find free parking on the street. You know, we're going to have a problem anyway. So, you know, if you're going to do a variance, it would be required to have parking for people if they're collecting these huge
well off the table. Apparently, it's such a burden that when you were having a conversation about possible modifications, that was the one element that was decided was not going to be negotiable, is valet parking. Well, with all of the statistics that were being made about, I bet there would be an interesting statistic that would talk about how much these off-site parking spaces would get used if there was or was not valet parking. I think this is a very integral part to the plan that was negotiated 8 years ago, I believe it was. And the developer seems to be taking a position that is burden. And I take the position, and I think that the board should take the position that it's a condition. The amount of density in the neighborhood was known. The projected density was understood when this negotiations took place. And that condition, however burdensome it might be, in fact, was a recognized cost of having to try to create that much more of a dense building environment in such an already dense environment. And so I feel that aside from the whole 1-to-1 or 1 to 0.75 or 0.77, while that's important, I don't think it's as important as the issue of the valet parking. The idea that people could be taken to their parking space safely, okay, can be done in a convenient way so that they actually would use these parking spaces, would find it convenient and viable alternative to on-site parking. So I would just like to state that in my opposition, I would, although we discussed so much the 1-to-1 point of the deviation that has been presented to you, I believe that the valet parking issue perhaps is even more important. And certainly the fact that the community has come forward and said, no, this 1-to-1 is the thing that must stay. I don't want to see this deviation possibly modified. Okay, maybe we'll get away with the 1-to-1, but let's take this valet parking and maybe slide that out. I would find that quite unacceptable and possibly, even more problematic than simply removing parking spaces from this whole equation. Thank you.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll pick it up with you. Is that all right with everyone?
There's only 2 more left.
And once again, we are still open. Please don't talk to anybody.